Hello, hello, hello. How are you doing? Good afternoon to you. Welcome along. Today is Sunday, the 1st of August 2021. This is our 4 p.m. movement snack. Third opportunity to start adding those extra minutes into the day. Are you a catcher-upper? If you are, firstly, hello. How you doing? Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time of day it is for you. Welcome along. Pop us a comment in. Let us know you've been in. It's always good to know you've caught up. Tell us a bit about what you've been up to, those sorts of things, you know. Take part in the preamble. We can skip through it if you want. If that's the one you want. Right, if you're a catcher-upper and this isn't the one you want, you've got off at the wrong stop, then get back on. Get back on that catch-up coach and get at the stopper you need, yeah? You can find it easily by having a look on our Facebook group. That's the way to find it. If you click in photos, if you're on a tablet or a mobile, and it'll be there if you're on a laptop, or desktop, then you click into media first and then into videos, and you'll find the most recent one at the top. They go in that order. Much easier than trying to find it on the main page. Right, whichever you do, catching up on this one, catching up on another one, because you've got off of this one and a mistake, then pop us a comment in, let us know you've been in, let us know we've been passing ships in the night, if you like. And then I'm going to leave you there and I kind of pop across and start saying hello to people as they come on board live. So if you're coming on board live, say hello to me, drop me a little line in, let me know you're here, so I know that I'm not all on my own. Don't want to be Billy No Mates. Tearing ourselves away from the Olympics if we can, yeah? Hi, it's Margaret. Good afternoon to you, Margaret, here from a cloudy Chesterfield. Yeah, it's been sunny this afternoon, but it's gone a little bit cloudy now. Excuse me. I'm just going to go up the washing. I've been cleaning the patio this afternoon. But a good old sweep up and getting things Bristol, ship shape and Bristol fashion. That's the word I'm looking for. I got the Bristol bit and I couldn't think of the rest of it. Yeah, ship shape and Bristol fashion. So that's been my job this afternoon. And then I thought, right, you know what? I'm going to have a sit down in the sun, in the garden, enjoy the patio I've just cleaned. So that was me. Then I've come in to see you guys. Best part of the day. Ken, good afternoon to you. Ready for your sway. Gillian, good afternoon to you. And Gillian, say good hi to everybody. Oh, excuse me. I shouldn't have had that sit down, you see. That's the worst thing you can do, isn't it? Sun comes out, you have a sit down, and you go, oh, all tired. I'll bring myself awake, though. Right, listen, we are getting around to 4 o'clock. So, pop us a comment in, let us know you're here. If you are joining us just quickly, if not, I'll catch up with you afterwards. Adil, good afternoon to you. Raining, so a quiet afternoon watching the BMX. What acrobats on a bike? I know I've got to watch that later. I'm looking forward to it. It's the BMX freestyle, isn't it? I'm looking forward to that. Caroline Galloway, you're tired too. And what is it about Sunday afternoons? It does it to you, doesn't it? I don't know. Terrible. You sit down, sun's out, if it is, you know, you go, ooh. Oh, it doesn't help if you just had something to eat as well. That's terrible. Have something to eat, sit down, I'm gone. Right, listen, I'm going to swipe the comments away. We are at 4 o'clock. So if you're on your laptop or desktop, you can leave them where they are. They're in the bottom corner, I believe. If you're on a tablet or a phone, then swipe them to the right and they will be gone. Shall I have 3, 2, 1, everybody? Good afternoon, everybody. You're with Dave Montgomery from Later Life Training. Today is Sunday, the 1st of August. Can you believe it? 1st of the 8th month of the year. Pinch and a punch. First day of the month to you. Flicking a quick kick for being so quick, eh? Welcome along. This is Sunday, the 1st of August 2021. This is our 4 p.m. sway and stretch snack. Welcome on board. First things first, decision. Are we going to do it standing? Are we going to do it in seated? Whatever we're doing, I need to get up from this kneeling position. Try to do it gracefully as well. We'll see, shall we? There we go. Good afternoon, everybody. Okay, a few little safety points. Let's make sure we've got nothing in our way around us, nothing that's going to cause us anything. If we step on it, it's going to cause us a problem. As always, I've got some fixed external support, so fireplace behind me and the wall behind me. A good sturdy chair if we're going to use it in a seated position. As always, if we want to, we have a look at the movement first. We decide how we want to do it. Do we want to do it in standing? Do we want to do it in seated? If we're in standing, do we want to use support or not? Those are our options, yeah? And as always, we work at our own level. So whatever your range of motion is, it is exactly the right one. Now, posture-wise, we get our heels in line with our hips and our hips in line with our knees in our standing position. Shoulders come up, back, and press down, so we open across this rib cage. In our seated position, then the first thing we do is bring ourselves off the back of the chair to sit that little bit taller. From there, we've got this lift and a shift as we bring ourselves into the front third of the chair. And then sitting here again, everything lines up, shoulders up, back and down. And we start with our circulation booster. Boosting our circulation is all about getting the circulation boosted, believe it or not. It does exactly what it says on the tin, as a famous paint company would say. It's about getting the blood starting to pump around the body a bit better, or a bit more. It's not a bit better, a bit more. It's about trying to increase that blood flow around the body. That's what I'm trying to say. And because of that, what we're doing is we're increasing the heart rate. We're going to increase our breathing a little bit as well. So we start to breathe a little bit bigger. We start to raise that heart rate, and we possibly start to feel a little bit warmer. Now we make the moves bigger. So from our heel raise, we take it into a march, lifting the foot off the floor. Prompts for us here in seated. This is a big movement for our hip flexors. We've already got them at 90 degrees and now we're asking them to do more. So if we feel muscle fatigue here, back in to a heel raise, or how about a toe tap in front? So we've got a different sort of movement happening. In our standing position, then we can see that we can clear the floor a little bit. We can start to point the toes down towards the floor, so we start to get some mobility happening in those ankles as well. Add an arm in. Driving the elbow backwards, mobilising through our shoulder. Now this drive backwards here is about making sure that it's not just a pendulum swing, it's a bit of a driven movement. Now in standing and in seated, you can just change your arm to the other side. If we're using our support and it's in front of us, then we need to pop the hand down first and then take the other hand off before we change hands. Always having a hand in contact with our support. However, if the support is to the side of us, we need to come to a complete stop. With that pause taking place, we take as many steps as we need to turn to the other side, and then away we can go again on that other side with that march. Swinging that arm through on the other side. In seated and in standing, if we feel steady, stable and coordinated, both arms, both legs, bigger movement because more of the body is moving. And then after about 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes, we bring this down a little bit, make it a little bit smaller, bring it to a pause, and at this point we should feel as though we want to take a couple of deep breaths. We're ready to go into our sway routine. Now remember, our sway routine this week has all been about Olympic type activities. So we've got our arm movement, and our arm movement, if we just have a look at the arms firstly, the first movement is this movement here, driving the elbow backwards, bringing the hand forward. And we had 3 of those movements, 3 sets of those. After the third one, we brought our hands in together at the front and out with a little hinge at the hip to bring the chest forward. Lowering the hands down, we bring it back up, and we've got this swim type motion with the rotation through the hands, through the wrists, through the elbows and the shoulders. Again, 3 of those, and then we bring it into this archery position, changing across, hands forward and back. And we've got 3 of those, and then we take it to have a look, where's that arrow gone? That's where we got to. Feet. You remember, it's exactly the same movements in our seated position for our hands, okay? Feet is where we start to see a bit of a difference. So, first movement, we've got the staggered feet, one foot in front of the other, but both feet are flat on the floor. And this goes with our arm movements. We've got that shift of the weight forward and then the shift of the weight backwards. Notice that both feet are staying firmly on the floor. We then step that in as we bring us to our bursting through the line position. With our swim motion, with those hands going round, we've got that little dip in the knees if we feel comfortable with it. Yeah? And then for our archery position, we take a foot forward with a slight angle of that toe coming out. And again, we've got that little shift of weight forward and back as we've got that bit of rotation happening there. Then again, we step through for that movement there to have a look for our arrow. So in our seated position, same sort of principle really. Staggered feet, that shift of weight forward happens because we get that hinge at the hip happening at the same time as the hands. So we get that bit of weight shifting happening. We step back in. As we go into our swim arms, we come up onto the toes and release down. Yeah? As we take it into our archery position, we step forward on that one foot, and again, angle the foot out slightly. We're sitting tall this time, though we've not got that shift of weight. The shift of weight happens because of the arm going forward and backwards. And then we step back in rather than stepping through, so we're not taking the feet too far away from the chair for this arrow look. Okay, so let's have a look at it up until there. Remember, if we're using our support to the side, it's all one-handed, and we'll do one side, and then we can take a pause, turn into the support to change to the other side, and away we go. Or we just stay with the hands. All right, so set ourselves up. We've got this staggered stance, and we take it 3 times through. So there's one. Slow, controlled movements all the time. Here comes our third one. And as we come back, we step in. We bring the hands up, and we take that little knee bend as we bring the hands around with that circular motion happening. Chest height, if we can, below our shoulders for sure. Here we step through and we go into that archery position. That rotation through, and see how we get that little bit of a shift of weight happening, but the bulk of it is this rotation through our waist. And on the third time we step in and we bring that hand up to look, where has the arrow gone? Bringing it back down. We could then start again on the other side. So let's have a look at that in our seated position. Once through now seated, before we add our new and our finale element on. So, 1 foot forward, 1 foot back a little bit. We've got this movement here, and if we think about chariots of fire music going through your head as you do this, it's that sort of motion that we're looking at. From there, we're stepping in, we're bringing it up and around. We've got that up and around. And again, we've got that up and around. Here, we take the foot out. We bring ourselves forward and we rotate through, taking it through from side to side, getting that motion through. And on this time, come forward, step back in seated. We'd step through on our standing position and have a look. Where has that arrow gone? That is where we left it yesterday. And again, remember, as I say, if we're going to do this in our standing position, then we've got this motion here if we're using our support one arm at a time, or we can just stay with the arm so we're not challenging our balance from a standing perspective. Stepping in, we've got that movement up and out with the arm, yeah? Again, and as we come into the archery position, we've got this movement here with this rotation around, turning in towards the support, turning away, and then taking that look forward, shifting the weight onto the front leg. Stepping back in, at which point we could take as many steps as we need to turn to the other side, and away we go on the other side. So, let's add our final movement in. We've done our running, we've done our swimming, we've done a bit of archery. It's a bit of a strange triathlon, but it's there. It's there in essence. Triathlon is as much as it's 3 sports, okay? We get to the finishing line, we've found where our arrow goes, we now need to come in for our, so we're here looking for our arrow, aren't we? And from there, we need to come in, take a deep breath in, and come down, leaning forward, a hip hinging to receive our medal. So, yes, the victory raise down, and a hinge from the hip. So from here we've got this victory raise to wherever it goes, and then that little hinge at the hip to come forward. Bring ourselves back up into a standing position, resetting the hands by the side. Yep. So let's try putting that all together now. So stance with our feet, and we go. Running through. Taking it through these slow, controlled movements. This is our third time. So this is where we step in. We come in for that little movement within our arms. controlling, feeling the rotations happening through as we go. Remember, it's only a little knee bend, it's not a huge thing. From here, we step out. We've got that archery movement. The archer twisting through, pulling the bowstring back and releasing. And on this time, coming through to have a look where that arrow has gone. From there, stepping back in, raising up for victory. Thank you. And from there down, hinging at our hips to bring our hands out to the side, back in, and that is where we could take to start it again with the other side leading through. Yeah? Remember, it's exactly the same in our seated position. We've just got different movements happening with the feet sometimes. So on this one, whereas we're bending the knees, we're lifting onto our heels, so we've got that movement happening. This is where we step forward on the other foot for our archery to come forward, that rotation through, taking it through all the way. On this last time, we're going to step back in or step through on the standing position, have a look. From there, raising up, thank you, coming down, hinging at the hip to take the medal, and coming back into our standing position. And there we are, that is our sway routine for this week. A little bit of fun based around some of the activities that are going on over the other side of the world, and you know, all of the athletes are doing an amazing job, and they're really competing well, especially considering they haven't got any crowds behind them to cheer them on. Proud of all of them from all over the world. Right, let's go into our stretches. So, hand on the side on our support if we need it. We're going to our calf firstly. Taking a step back, we bring ourselves down, foot down first, then through to the heel. And then bend the front knee, allowing yourself to lean into it. We get this straight line from our head down to our heel. That's in our standing position. In our seated position, then heel down, toes up. And here, sitting tall, we ease the heel away a little bit more. Bring the toes in towards the shin a little bit more to feel that lengthening happening down through the back of our leg. Once again, we hold this for around about 12 to 20 seconds. And then release out. In seated, bring the foot back in. In standing, unbend the front knee and bring the foot back in. Step out on the other leg or extend the other leg out. In standing, bend your front knee, allow yourself to lean into it. In seated, ease that heel away. In seated, make sure this knee stays soft. We don't lock it out. So we feel that lengthening down through the back. Nice. Lengthening of that muscle, that's what we should feel. We shouldn't feel any pain. Release out after around 12 to 20 seconds, come back in, have a little breather there, and let's take it into the back of the thigh. So in seated firstly, we extend the leg away, starting very similar to how we were, but we relax the toes down towards the floor. We're sitting tall, but we take it that little bit taller, and with our hands on our bent knee, it's a hinge at the hip to come forward. And we feel that stretch into the back of the thigh. Now in standing, same principle really. If we're using our support, our hand is in front of us, step forward on the other leg. We're standing tall, lift that little bit taller first, and then hinge with your hip to bring yourself forward, and we get that lengthening down through the back of the thigh. Hold this for around 12 to 20 seconds, but with both seated and standing, if you feel it starting to ease off, take a breath in, and as you breathe out, try and take it a little bit further. So in standing, push your bottom away a little bit more. In seated, hinge forward a little bit more and feel that stretch coming back on. Re-lengthening that muscle a little bit. Unhinge, step in, bring the foot back in, feel the stretch ending, and change to the leg. Remembering in standing, we take a turn into our support. Now, if we're not using support, the process is exactly the same. Look, we take the foot forward, we lift from the hip, and we hinge forward. We just need to remember, what do we do with these hands? Well, we can either just leave them here, we can place them on this back leg or on our hips, but the one thing we don't do is place them onto this front leg. We don't want any pressure down through that knee. Again, if we feel it ease off, breathe in, breathe out, a little bit further. Again, just feel that lengthening of that muscle coming back on. Around the 12 to 20 seconds, we release out, unhinge, foot comes back in, At this point, you might want to have a little pedal through with those feet. Just release out through those legs. Let's take it into the top of the back. So hands, one hand inside the other. Imagine that you're hugging a tree. Pull the shoulders forwards, or draw the shoulders forwards rather than pull them forward. And if you want to, take a look down towards the floor, about 6 foot in front of you. So you're looking just under your hands. And that will give you a lengthening down through the back of the neck and across the shoulders and the top of the back. Once more, around about 12 to 20 seconds is what we're looking at. Go with what's comfortable for you though, and release out. Hands into the small of the back. Now either your palms face away or they face into you. Same in our seated position, but in our seated position we also have the ability here, sitting in the front third of the chair, to take the hands onto the chair at the side behind our bottom. Now the movement is a slight drawback of the shoulders, but the main movement is to lift that chest, yeah? So we start to ease the shoulders back, but then we lift the chest to get the stretch, to get the lengthening across the top here. That's where we want to feel it. Taking deep breaths into our nose and out through our mouth throughout. Again, that 12 to 20 seconds. And then we release. And there we are. That is us done. That is our sway and stretch for this week. I will be back with you tomorrow. I think I'm on 12s tomorrow. So I'll be back with you tomorrow at 12 o'clock. Plenty of opportunities for you to keep crowbarring more activities in as you go through the rest of the day, so you can pile in those extra minutes of movement. Have a great evening, everybody. Make sure that mobility, activity, movement stays on your radar for the rest of the day. Crowbar away, and I'll see you at 12 noon tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.